Hello folks, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and on this week's episode, we are diving into some classic samurai goodness. We are reading Blade of the Immortal by Hiroaki Samura. We read chapters 0 through 13, so sharpen your blades, try not to think too hard about how the immortality works, it's gross, and enjoy the show. Hello folks, and welcome to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always, here at the top of the show, we talk about our familiarity with what this week. I have played Sekiro. I only did one of the 3 endings, but I feel like that's a very, I just dipped my pinky toe into the zeitgeist on this one. Jay, how about you?
This is the first time read for me, so it actually was a recommendation from one of our social media listeners, so thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, I have not interacted with too many of this genre, probably the same as everyone else here, but yeah, this was a first time read for me.
All right, Jacob, how about you?
First time read as well.
Great, and Matt?
Yeah, this is a first time for me, although I was aware this existed in that, like, Dark Horse collection of, like, seinen manga that are considered, like, pretty good reads, so it's always been, like, in the periphery of, like, things I should get around to reading, but this was, like, forcing us to read things, so.
Yeah, that's just the ultimate benefit of the podcast. It's like forcing us to read stuff that we wanted to get to at some point.
Otherwise, I can't keep going back to the Martial King because I can't. It doesn't come out quick enough. I need more chapters of sexy cowboy. I need more Dr. Stone cowboys.
So what you're saying is we need to get to JoJo Part 7.
I mean, if we want to rush it, we can do it. I'm down for that.
I'm not going to do that with JoJo's holy shit.
This manga opens up with it really establishes the tone very quickly, because the first page is this very like pencil charcoal drawing of a man being killed by a samurai, which is about I'd say conservatively 4% of the pages in this manga.
One thing that it's really good with is it will like judiciously change its art style to establish like vibe and tone. You know, like it gives it the quality of editing in an anime, like how an anime can use like camera angle or camera movement to convey an idea. The manga does the same thing with the art style. There are cases where it didn't gel with me just because I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the sketch, like the charcoal sketchy style, but like, man, did it like do a good job of conveying information, and it looks really pretty.
Oh, it's extremely pretty. And it's got that who is the movie director that did all the like classic samurai films?
Oh, Kurosawa?
Kurosawa.
Oh yeah.
It's got big Kurosawa energy.
It is the right time period for someone who is inspired by Kurosawa to write a manga.
Mm-hmm. After that man gets murdered by a samurai, we cut to a woman and a young girl. And the young girl, she's very like, for lack of a more culturally appropriate term, she's very Valley Girl. Where she's like, oh, Dad's not home for my 14th birthday. He's probably out drinking and whoring, and we're gonna be alone on the streets this time tomorrow. You mark my words, Mom.
I love the smile on the mom's face, because you can tell that she's managed these emotions before with her daughter.
Oh, yeah. Are we skipping over the prologue? Chapter 0?
I didn't read it, admittedly. I was told 1 to 12. I did 1 to 12.
I mean, if we want to briefly talk over the introduction, it was just an introduction, sort of the grittiness and overall dark tones of the manga. We're introduced to don't want to say our protagonist, antihero. Is that inappropriate?
I think deuteragonist is probably the best term to use, because Rin really is the one who like sets the plot in motion.
Manji definitely has a lot of that Wolverine energy about him.
Yeah. So Yeah, chapter 0, introduction to a little bit of the gritty backstory and a little bit of not too much short of setting the tone as far as this is set into just after Sengoku Jidai.
It's the time period like heading towards the modern era, but they haven't taken the swords away yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, we haven't quite hit Meiji Restoration.
It also likes playing with its time period and tone a lot because there are like bits at the beginning of the volume to give a little bit of context because obviously this story is very deeply tied into Japanese culture, history, and mythology. So for us gaijins, they give us a little bit of context, and one of the things that's mentioned is the translation does its best to sort of capture the idea of the samurai characters will like use basically like modern bancho street tough type language that simply did not exist in that time period to fit the vibe that the manga is going for, whereas a lot of other characters
I whacked 100 guys before I took up this contract with you, all right, Choom?
and
Yeah.
a lot of
I'm exaggerating only slightly.
rest of it is like designed to fit in the period era,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit hard to pin down exactly when it takes place.
The localization we read is by Dark Horse, the same people that did, if my memory serves me, Berserk.
Mhm.
So it's got a lot of it's a pretty good translation, I'd say. It conveys the tone in a way that Western audiences would understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our chapter 0 opens up with Manji, our deuteragonist, with his backstory about how he inherits the the dragon blood. Wait, this isn't Sekiro.
Tibetan bloodworms.
Yeah, the worms instead of the centipedes.
Me.
Always something.
Mhm.
But yeah, the other thing that is sort of like kind of established here is and this is something that is brought up a couple of times because Manji's functionally immortal. Strictly speaking, he'll we'll see him struggle against some opponents, but for the most part, he simply can't be killed. So he's very blasé about the way that he fights. He kind of just face tanks swords and kills people. I think it's in this chapter where he mentioned the lady who gave him the bloodworms. That's like, because I can't die, it's making me lazy and my sword skills are deteriorating. I hate this.
Same, dude.
Yeah.
Same.
Because why bother being good at sword fighting if a fatal blow won't kill you? Just put everything into offense and care nothing about defense, forehead.
Because chapter 0 is very much an in the bottle kind of story, to the point where my dumb brain forgot that it was chapter 0, and I was really confused as why it was structured like this.
Oh, so like when I read chapter 0 of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also did that.
That's a completely different problem.
Yeah, that one is designed to happen later, but is put in the wrong place on the Shonen Jump back. But regardless, Manji had been a very bad person. He was, killing basically for fun and profit. And when one of the authorities tried to take him in, he killed that person in front of his wife. And the wife basically went semi-catatonic, functionally adopted her as a surrogate sister to make up for that.
He took this adult woman home as a puppy.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
It's a bit weird. And then honestly, the rest of the first chapter is just putting her in a refrigerator. It's
Yes.
Well, almost, but it's not like he's even that motivated by what happens. It's kind of
yeah.
He continues his thought process of, I've been a bad guy, I need to be better. I really want to die.
A more detailed version of stuff that gets explained throughout the rest of the reading.
I mean, when you put it in the context, this was almost certainly the pilot that got the manga greenlit.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like it gives you a character motivation, it gives you a story, kind of. There's a whole bit about like a priest or someone pretending to be a priest so that he can shoot criminals who come to confession, which is fun.
Yeah, no. I mean, and
That
like
giving you some
honestly,
ideas for later.
and like honestly, even me making the joke about putting a character in a refrigerator, given the length of it and what its utility is, it's fine for what it is.
Mhm.
It's the backstory for the Serge de Leon godly character walking through the Western.
So I will
Yeah.
say, the thing I have a problem with is I didn't notice this until we talked about it pre-show. I was unaware that the Manchi going forward claim talks about how he had a sister and that was his motivation. I thought that was a separate character to this woman because I really didn't get that vibe from them, especially with her backstory being told like 2 pages before.
Mhm.
But apparently that's his motivation through the rest of the manga. So cool. Cool.
See, the thing is, I'm inferring the reason I'm confident in that is I'm inferring that from like basically the law of conservation of characters. If it got revealed later that he has a separate actual blood sister, it wouldn't shock me, but I'm
Mhm.
Man
pretty
needs
sure
to
it's supposed
stop
to be the same
collecting.
character.
If that's true, this man needs to stop collecting sister surrogates who are going to die to motivate him.
Hey, whatever works for you. I'm not gonna like hamper it.
You
I
know
don't
what? No,
I don't think it
self-love.
works
Find
for
your
him.
self-love. Find your motivation in life. If that's adopting women as your sister, you know,
That
Yeah.
Who then promptly die.
the actual core motivation of this manga has nothing to do with Rin and her trauma. It's all about Manji continuing to find ladies to be his tragic sister until he finally dies.
hey. There's 2 different main characters. They can have separate motivations.
Fair enough. Speaking of that other main character,
Yeah, so after chapter 0 happens.
Yeah, as rigorous as it is. So now we move into the current plot or plot of the day, where our Manji meets Rin. Rin
Well,
as What?
We start off by seeing seeing Rin's backstory, which is
brutal.
a generational grudge, basically.
Yeah,
Yup.
and it was really interesting digesting the grudge because it seems to be okay, so the antagonist, his grandfather, was slighted by Rin's
Grandfather.
grandfather.
Father and grandfather.
Yes. And the root of the grudge was he was charged, or both of them, both the grandfathers were charged with defending was it a daimyo?
Rin's grandfather was the head of a sword fighting clan.
Yeah.
Rin's father and the bad guy's grandfather both defended the head of the sword fighting clan, but the bad guy's grandfather not only used
He didn't use a purely Japanese swords to do it.
he used
he-
other techniques. He used dual wielding. He picked up one of the enemy's weapons, etc., etc. He
Yeah.
wasn't traditional.
So ultimately, it came down with you did the thing, but you did the thing the wrong way. And so you are no longer noble, and you are no longer chosen to be the heir of this sword style.
Yeah, it's there's a whole thing later on that is an interesting meditation on this because as we said, this is post Sengoku Jidai. Japan has been ostensibly at peace for about 100 years. So the entire samurai tradition is just that. It's a tradition. It's not warriors going to battle. It's clans of people who were the friends of prior warlords getting the chance to live rich.
Yeah.
And so they get real hyped up on, their technique and their form and their honor and doing it right. And it's just like,
But what about results?
But I'm the one
What-
who defended you better.
yeah, what about results? And, our antagonist, Anotsu, his grandfather, Saburo, which very funny to me. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. Saboru Anatsu was like, but I literally won. Like, compared to your own son, I killed like 50% more guys than him when we were actually fighting for our lives. No, you did it wrong.
Yep.
It's one of those ones where, like,
so, like, this entire generational grudge is so petty because it's entirely built around a samurai clan who have had nothing substantial to do for the last like 50 years, getting high on their own farts, and then they're like, oh, you're not high enough on our farts, go away. What do you mean I'm not high enough on your farts?
it's petty on all sides, because, like, from the initial thing that caused this, a person was genuinely slighted, you know, and I don't know, there is something to be said about doing things the proper way, but, like, the counter argument of, but we would have died if I didn't, is a really, really compelling counter argument. But that said, though, two generations later...
This is still feudal Japan. The whole thing of Bushido is still really powerful in the like cultural.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there is something to be said, even that notwithstanding, there is something to be said of, like, not just doing something, but doing it the right way. It's not completely unmotivated why this happened in the first place, but there's a really compelling argument from the grandfather. But then 2 generations later, a guy comes in and just starts murdering people who had nothing to do with what happened.
Exactly. Like, it's essentially every time he breaks into these sword schools, he's having to reiterate and explain, like,
this is why I am randomly killing you.
Yeah.
I want to assume that in the universe of Blade of the Immortal, every time anyone murders anybody, they give a full synopsis of both their backstory and an explanation for why they're murdering the person they're about to murder. Because holy does that happen every single time?
Yes.
We are reading a manga, Matt. Yes.
Yes. There's reading a manga, and then there is just, hold on, let me finish my story. Characters in characters say...
Yeah.
Like, let me finish my story.
This is a Kurosawa film turned into a manga, so yeah.
But yeah, we learn later that the villain, because like, going back into the past.
Stupid generational grudge aside, Anotsu did murder
a bunch
Rin's
of people.
Parent. Did murder Rin's father and a bunch of other people, had her mother raped and kidnapped, like, bad guy around.
Yes.
We do find out later that he has more to it than simply the generational grudge, but as of this point, the story is presenting it as he's holding on to this generational grudge and inflicting it upon genuinely innocent people.
There's an argument to be made that the dad had some responsibility, depending on how you view it culturally, but everyone else doesn't.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, would the dad deserve something? Perhaps. Not what he got, and all of the other people weren't even involved, so it's like, yeah.
We cut to 2 years later where Rin is hunting for vengeance.
Yeah, because again, this happened right in front of her on the day of her birthday.
This is such an action movie villain like moment, but I do like him making the comment of there's no class in assaulting a child.
I love that line comes immediately after, by the way, go ahead and rape the woman.
You've already expressed the intent. By the way, your dad and your mother are going to be dealt with, but yeah, get out of here, kid.
Rape the mother, but we're not pedophiles. What do you... Good.
To be fair, I think they were just going to kill her, it seemed, but...
Yeah.
It's just like, that line is such an action movie villain line. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, Rin has spent 2 years training to avenge her parents. However, before she can set out on her quest, she bumps into an old lady.
A cute little old lady.
Is definitely kidding about being 800. Whether or not you take her seriously without the prologue is sort of an interesting question, but...
Who's Roshi's sister in the original Dragon Ball?
It's literally just Baba.
Yeah, she's got a lot of Baba energy. She's like, wow, kid, if you're on this vengeance quest, but you're a scrawny little thing, you're never gonna go kill all those bad guys. You should go get yourself a bodyguard, the most powerful Yojimbo you can find.
I will give you a hilarious illustration of him.
He's this real shitty guy who never takes a bath. He's got a bunch of swords and smells real bad. You'll find him instantly. Here you go.
And that was personal. Thanks, Grandma.
I love what we find out later is the strong implication, if not outright confirmation, that this lady has just been finding anyone who's on a vengeance quest and sending him Manji's way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
This isn't like Yoda
I-
coming from the swamp going like, I can tell your search for vengeance is true and just. She's going like, that guy said he wanted to kill only good people. Better find good people to kill. Or I'm sorry, other way around.
No, other way
but
around.
yeah.
I'm like, whoa. Anyway, yes.
Manji's whole thing is he needs to kill 1,000 villains before his karma will be made good.
Yeah,
And then
so
he
she's
can
just
die.
throwing him at him. She's just throwing him at him. Hey, you want to go fight someone? Go find him. He needs to kill 1,000 guys. He's good for it.
She's a woman of the cloth, so she's trying to save his soul, but she's also a little gremlin.
Listen, being alive for 1,000 years will do that to somebody.
you gotta get your amusements up.
We do have Rin eventually meet Manji, with him chopping firewood in the new morning light using his swords.
His main shtick is that he has his like regular katana, but he also has a whole different more specialized weapons, more movie weapons. He has a twin blade that is the kind of twin blade that doesn't work.
He's got the Darth Maul twin blade.
No. Darth Maul twin blades actually work. He has the stupid kind with no hilt.
He has the assortment of weapons you would find at like a swap meet or like a thrift, like those like
Yeah.
community center things, like where people come and like there's one stand that sells Asian weaponry.
Yeah.
Except he's bought all of it and he's just like, my god, this sword's so cool. It's split into 2 prongs.
Come on,
Tines?
ninja.
Tines. That's what you call them.
But he's like, I'm too cool to be your bodyguard, little girl. Well, can you... I don't know. I really want to kill these guys. I will be coy about working with you until you're in mortal danger.
I like what he says right here. I
Hmm.
think it's think it seems like that might be like a theme the manga's trying to push with, especially what we got near the end of our reading. Because what he essentially
I'm taking the piss a little bit, but you are
what he essentially says is like, oh, so you're here on some kind of righteous vengeance quest. That's cool, but I need to be certain I'm killing bad people. And how do I know your dad didn't like really fuck them over? Like maybe
Yeah.
they're just getting vengeance. Like
I
Like,
thought that was
just-
a really good question because you never really take a step back to think critically of like why would they pursue your father, you know? Maybe he did do something. And that really got me thinking like you've never how many children have really taken the chance to be objective and saying, are my parents truly good people?
And I mean, like, to a large degree, I think the reason why that scene works so well, because it does a really good job of like a character like Manji could be done poorly so easily. He could come off as like either like wishy-washy or like a spout cool phrase type of character. But no, he comes off as a character with some weight. And I think the reason that it works so well to a large degree is the fact that for the most part, we do kind of know that Rin's vengeance quest is fairly justified. But what if there was more to it that we don't know about? And like the fact that we've seen from what we presume to be the start of it sets us to be in Rin's position of like, obviously this is right and just. Obviously the main character is going to join, like, it's like I just have to go through the motions because my vengeance is obviously justified. How does anybody know,
Yeah.
And like I think there's also like a broader thing like under the surface of whether or not like a quest of vengeance that's just I'm going to kill everyone who's wronged me can ever be morally good.
If any like vengeance of that type could, for the reasons that we've said, this would be it. But like, is it okay to is it okay to just kill people no matter the reason?
Yeah, because one of the thesis statements we got in the prologue was essentially like Manji coming to terms with the fact that he doesn't want to just like die because that's not going to cleanse his soul. like he's done bad, he needs to do good that outweighs that, and like there is a certain honor in living and trying to repent. Whereas like it's kind of like shooting in the face of like this typical story where like the idea that seppuku is like you killing yourself to maintain honor, but it's just like the manga every time that's brought up really kind of says it in the same kind of vibe as isn't that kind of the coward's way out. Like you're not actually dealing with the consequences of your actions.
Yeah, you're not taking responsibility for what happened.
Turns out, harakiri, seppuku, all that ritualistic suicide stuff is just you not dealing with anything anymore.
Oh, it's a really, you know, it's like Bloodworms notwithstanding, it's really grounded, really serious, very strong tone. I'm sure glad that we're gonna maintain this tone for the rest of the reading.
So we have Warcraft Paladin McBig Shoulders here spouting cringy poetry.
Yeah, so I don't think we fully elaborated. When Rin's parents were killed, she was killed by like a team of 90 shonen villains. Because holy shit, were these people dressed up like they were dressed up like Inuyasha characters. Is there
You're not wrong!
There was a splash panel of Inuyasha villains, and like we've seen most of them in our reading.
Well, I think by the end of our reading we saw all of the displayed characters, but obviously it was paneled in such a way that there's a nice mass of people behind it for, you know, however long the manga sells. And just to be clear, you know, making the joke about it, but 100%, this is good. This makes it so much fun. And it ends up contrasting with the serious moments in a way that makes them land better. But oh boy, does this manga get goofy sometimes.
Yeah, so we have pauldrons as big as his head. Every panel he's in, he's writing poetry.
Which I thought was a nice touch, because we cannot forget how impactful poetry was during the time. I mean, it was an art, a craft.
A lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some might argue even a lifestyle.
So here's the...
I appreciate that bit of flavor, as twisted as it turned out to be.
Honestly, agreed. Honestly, agreed. Like, it feels weird to us as like modern day Westerners, but like, no, a big spooky samurai warrior spouting off poetry as he committed acts of violence would be a very, or even not committing acts of violence, just doing poetry because that's the thing his heart called for or whatever. Like, that makes a lot of sense culturally.
Yeah, that whole Bushido nonsense of not only like an enlightened warrior.
Mm-hmm. And boy, these couple of pages really flex the like shifting the art styles to mimic like a kind of like editing in motion, where you have a mysterious woman, big shoulder man, Sabato. They're basically poetrying at each other. God, like, this is a samurai movie moment where it's like they're basically like they're using love poems to talk about how they're about to kill each other.
It's like, dun 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 dun. In love, I seek perfection, and the only perfection is death.
I love how every other character they try and give some kind of sympathetic angle to, but they just double down on this guy being a monster.
He's so weird. Everybody knows he's so weird.
This guy is comically evil, which makes it so funny when he shows up in a later flashback, and I had forgotten how comically evil he was.
Yeah.
Hello, young master. It is me, just doing my daily day job with...
Here I am with my one hunched shoulder.
Yeah, let's get into him so that we can really describe how insane flashback is when that comes up.
You get a fight scene with him, and I feel like it's worth just kind of establishing the broad strokes of how all the fights go, so we can just talk about the specifics when they come up. Nearly every fight is incredibly powerful person deals what should be lethal damage to Manji. Rin tries to help, but she's simply 2 years of self-teaching is not enough to deal with manga characters. And then Manji's functional immortality catches the opponent off guard. There's variations to that we'll talk about, but that's the general vibe.
This man, Big Shoulder Man, he has a few particular funny ones, because Manji's like, hey, quit ignoring me to pay attention to the girl. Goes to slash at his back. Suddenly Manji's falling over, cut in half, and Big Shoulder Man's like, aha, you fool, you did not know I trained my body to rotate 180 degrees at the hips.
Yeah, because that's totally something that you just do.
As you do. Haven't you
definitely
gotten
got
to that in your samurai?
He definitely got the Happy Gilmore treatment.
I mean, yeah, guys, if we're gonna really be splitting hairs on that, we really need to establish the other fucking nonsense that's going on with him. Because as he reveals to Rin after knocking out Manji with that slice, he unveils his shoulder pauldrons to reveal they are not pauldrons, but women's heads that he has surgically attached to
That
his
he is
shoulders.
taxidermied and just sewn into the fabric of his shoulder pads or whatever.
Oh,
No,
that
that's
makes
onto his. I'm pretty sure that's onto his flesh.
I thought he had it sewn to his flesh, and somehow his blood was keeping their skin youthful and alive.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
I think that's what's happening then.
I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
Because this guy is comically evil and almost doesn't make any sense in a series with bloodworms that keep you alive forever.
I'm even more impressed, because that's some high-level surgical technique.
Because he's not I'm enamored the beauty of the female form, which is why they must be kept preserved and young. So my wife, when she started to become a hag at the ripe age of 17, I killed her and sewed her head onto my shoulder.
As you do.
And also, one of the heads on my shoulders is your mother, so I will cut off my wife's head and put your head here so that mother and daughter can be reunited.
Which
because
makes me wonder if that's actually his wife.
I love in the same breath, this guy is saying how enlightened he is, because he's just those people were just going to use your mother as a way to satisfy their pleasures. I allowed her the sweet release of death. And also her head has been sewn to my body. And I'm like, buddy, you're not better. There's a strong argument that you're worse, because I don't even know how to fucking process what I'm seeing right now.
You worse than actual rapists. What?
Rapist, I can at least understand that there is a selfish desire that is overriding morality. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at with you.
Reanimator right here. Howard H.P. Lovecraft.
I need to keep their heads alive on my body.
So Rin uses her ultimate technique, Curtain of Death, Golden Wasp Flight, where she just throws needles at guys.
I mean, first of all, should we tell her that wasps bite, or
no?
I mean, this is some
it's funnier if it's wrong. Rin then uses her second ultimate technique, which is getting knocked the fuck out and crying on the floor.
I love how stupid her throwing technique is, because every time she uses it, the manga makes a point to show that she's throwing her head back, baring her
entire
neck.
Body. It is just not even a.
It is a full body throw.
Yeah.
You live in an age where taking your opponent's head is the move du jour, and you're baring your neck like this. What?
Yep.
It's very dramatic.
It also looks like I would get whiplash. Honestly, everything's just moving.
Same.
It's almost like when she was training at the dojo to avenge her father, she had accidentally went to the wrong bookshelf of techniques to the ones they had written as a joke.
We trained her wrong as a joke.
Your blade to my neck technique.
I mean, to some degree, that is what's going on here. Like she's self-taught. Like she's been self-taught for 2 years, and the closest to formal training she's gotten has been her father's students have taught her some katas. Like, the whole thing is that she's at level 0 and she needs to improve. That gets more directly addressed at the end of our reading, but it's a common thing throughout this where it's like Rin is not talentless, but she's kind of incompetent because she doesn't have a baseline.
She's incompetent because 2 years of dojo training was an insane idea to go on a quest for revenge against people who have been warriors for their entire lives is really the end all be all here.
That's whether or not taking some afternoon, I don't know, pick your sport of choice classes at the gym, and then saying, I'm going out on a quest.
Yeah, it's like thinking that doing high school basketball is going to prepare you for the NBA. Like it's a completely different.
It's like when I got my black belt in that children's jujitsu class, and I thought I was ready for street fights.
And here's the thing: this is pointed out later because the entire point of main villain's Itotsuryu's school is he's like, I don't care about all this fancy pants samurai, honor and forms and composure shit. The way of the sword is the way of victory. If you're not winning your fights, you're dead. So, she's going up, she is using, dojo training field techniques against people who are just here to kill other people and win fights.
Also, she's using that weird throwing knives technique that she apparently discovered invented herself, because no way her father's school taught that.
He's like, I'm not putting my name on that.
It's funny because at one point when she's talking to Manji, she's like, I've been training 2 years, mostly in assassin techniques.
Fair.
That is what she's out there for.
But yeah, no, she's knocked on her ass. She starts crying. And the guy,
Big Guy McThreehead
says, I will reunite mother and daughter, and then afterwards I will have completed my beautiful poetry. And because the other thing is this guy had been writing poems weirdly threatening to her dojo. That's how they found him so quick.
Mm-hmm.
So weirdly threatening / flirtatious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he picks up ladies. Yes.
If I had to try and diagnose him, I think he's kind of sexually turned on by death.
Yeah.
Is the weird thing he's kind of going on here.
Yes.
So he wants to have mother and daughter on his shoulders, and then he wants to die to preserve and have his own body stuffed so that they will be a piece of art. There's also a weird through line of the artistry of both swordsmanship and other things you can do throughout here. He's really weird to trace this, and then she's given a knife and it's just so if I die and keep a beautiful head, you'll put it on your shoulder and then you'll kill yourself, and then I'll get my vengeance because you personally were the person who killed my father and subjected my mother to her torture and then killed my mother. So the murderer of both my parents is you.
Yes.
I can live with my vengeance technically fulfilled if my death causes you to die, even though it's just you promising to kill yourself if I kill myself.
Yes. This is how he's rationalized. This is how it's rationalized. Yes.
And she's honestly, what she's doing right now is she's taking the betting odds of this is the closest I'm gonna get, because the alternative is just dying here when he kills me.
Mm-hmm.
And Manji's been chopped in half, and she doesn't know he's actually immortal yet, because all she has is the word of one weird old woman in a graveyard that he can't die.
Yeah, she's not seen him do anything yet. The moment before she's going to do it, Big Damn Hero pops in behind, and we get one of the common threads of big moment in a fight scene, like the big final move that decides the battle is in like this framed painting style,
like a Buddhist kind of like lotus blossoming out in like a circular
It's a mandala,
design.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a mandala. That's the word.
It's extremely pretty. It's this whole page like mandala of the winner of the battle vivisecting the loser.
It's also very entertainingly framed, because whilst the bad guy's head is being split into 4 pieces vertically, like it almost looks like, like if you showed this image to somebody independent of the rest of the context of the manga, it would look like, like the 2 women's heads are like just 2 women looking in different directions, and then it's like the closer you look, the weirder it would become.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
they're
do
like
this now.
rejecting him.
The coda that we get at the end of all of this is Manji, which, I mean, like, again, with someone who's, like, stated goal is to, like, he's looking to die, but to, reinforce, like, the core of his character, he says, you were ready to just die to take out one person. That's not who you were really after. You were after the person, not the person who literally struck the blow, but the person who ordered it. Don't throw your life away that easily. Ties into the idea that the character is, despite him being a character who wants to die, he still values life.
Yeah, he wants to die because he wants to sell his life valuably, which means he sees life as value. That's a really interesting thing as like a throughput of this entire like reading that we did. It's full of these people who are obsessed with sword fighting and, like winning at all costs and like blood and murder. All of their like philosophical conversations before, during, and after their fights are them trying to justify their murder intent. And everybody else is just like, damn, these murderers are crazy, right?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the characters who are a little bit more honest with themselves. Actually, next chapter has a moment of this where it's like, Manji in particular will be the kind of person who just says, cut the bullshit and be honest with yourself. You just enjoy killing people. That's fine. I do too.
Yeah, and they have like a bro moment for a beat until he's just like, haha, I'm going to take my pot shot at you. So, yeah. And there's a bit of a levity to that. At least I think.
There's a lot of levity in this next one, especially because the guy that is talking with Manji is similarly an immortal.
Well, I mean, he doesn't.
Oh wait, I skipped over the sword painter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who's really weird, and I don't really know how to contextualize him in the.
He's a friend of Ren's father, and Ren tries to, recruit him. Funnily enough, I was kind of expecting us to get a posse for this, but he ends up not sticking.
I expected the same.
It's like they recruit, because I was expecting like the Trigun or like that 2000s era anime. Like, let's get the third guy who's gonna like counteract the like dour main character and the girl.
He kind of just breaks that trope because we assume that because there's so many stories where it's just like, okay, and now let's gather a band of these ruffians who come together for a similar cause. This guy is flat out saying, not really my jam. I'm kind of selfish, so not really gonna. Yeah.
You don't understand. I'm a painter, and I really love foreign art, but the government cracked down on the importation of foreign art, so I did what anyone would do in my situation. I became a ninja to do assassinations for the government, so they'd let me have foreign art.
Yeah.
I killed my friends because I really love art. And now I'm stumped because there's a color in this painting I've been working on that I just
love this. I love this one.
Place it.
I just love, like, in the background while he's contemplating this, like the scene,
the
like,
battle is going on,
happening, and he's just like, "What is missing?"
One of the funniest panels in this scene is him just going like, "What is this almost red color I remember from my past that I can't put my finger on?" And we see the open door outside, and it's Rin running with her sword, like slamming it against a guy.
People
like
are like
Rin-
dying, being sliced down and everything, and like I need to take up the rear, and he's just
just Rin killing a guy off screen while this guy's like thinking, like, oh, so Rin's allowed to do things when she's not in center stage, clearly.
Well, yeah, no. So in absolute terms, what this chapter is here for is the thing I mentioned about one thing that Manji will do is like cut the crap and be honest with yourself, which he does to Rin a lot, but he also does to a lot of the antagonists. And this character represents that. You know, it's like you don't want to help Rin because you don't want to help her. You want to do your own thing. That's fine. Just be honest about it. And then the other thing is to establish that whilst Rin is absolutely out of her depth and is going to get her ass kicked a lot by a lot of the villains, she's still competent enough that she could take on most normal people. It's when the manga villains start showing up is when she gets damseled.
Like, she can fight an untrained bandit who's like just why were those guys here? Like, they just got tipped off by the villains, is what happened.
So
I think it was because like the villain of the week was here, and this guy, he's very much like, haha, I will be the strongest guy by having so many goons, and then all his goons die, and he's like, oh, I what do I do with this now? I'm dead.
Yeah, so in all honesty, this guy is actually kind of important for that flashback that Matt mentioned.
Shockingly, yeah.
So this is those two scenes are very much tied to each other at a fundamental level. Like one supports the other, and you know the second supports the first. This is basically just a thug who wants power, and he's going to hurt random people to do it. But he is adhering to the Itairyo school's methods to do it, so he gets to keep the name. And like him and a bunch of other people, it's like they're doing whatever it takes to win. They're technically following the tenet. They're a bunch of random thugs who are just, you know, wielding weapons to hurt people. There's no nobility, there's no honor, there's no dream in that.
it's kind of like a band of like rejects, essentially.
Yeah. And it's like they don't really have anything to do with this. It's that, you know, what the ideal of the main villain was is sort of like evolved outside of his control. It'll be easier to explain the point of this character once we get to the flashback a little bit later, because that's pretty close to the end of our reading. But the point of this character is that he's just some, you know, random evil asshole.
Yeah,
he wants to kill the main characters for clout.
He's villain of the week number 3. And, you know, he just so happens to show up and be villain of the week while Rin is visiting family friend who is Master Shinobi. So, really, this is kind of a filler chapter, because like Master Shinobi, he you know, he loves his art. He wants to paint with his sword. He doesn't know what the color red is until blood splatters on his canvas.
It's really funny.
It's really
extremely funny.
And also he basically gives them traveling funds.
Oh, right. He gives them the insane amount of money that means they never have to worry about money.
He ups his fee specifically so he can fund Rin's adventures, because he does kind of feel bad.
He's like, hey, wealthy merchant that was commissioning me for this piece of art. My rate is now 30 Ryo, and you're going to give that to me right now as an upfront payment, and here you go, Ren.
Also, completely unrelated, could you get me 3 corpses?
Well,
I mean, we killed like a dozen people.
Well, yeah, I will buy these corpses off of you, yes.
Yeah, like he was actually going to like try to make it like a legit, like, hey, you know.
Well, because the guy he's scamming is standing right there. He's got to at least pretend.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's kind of the equivalent of one of your dad's friends who, is really cool, but unfortunately is not the guy I guess you thought he was. But he kind of feels bad in a way. Eh.
I have several uncles like this, and none of them have paid me for dead bodies.
Yep.
Is that a good or bad thing?
I don't know.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
Have you just been giving them dead bodies for free? Because that's probably a little problematic.
I don't know what the statutes in Staten Island are.
That's why the Pine Barrens exist.
Anyway, we have Swamp Boy next.
I like Swamp Boy.
I like Swamp
Swamp Boy is so ridiculously helpful for seemingly no reason.
He's definitely the character that the mangaka had the most fun drawing, and he's like, I don't want this guy to die right now. He needs to be a villain later.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is he's not that thoroughly invested in the revenge plot. And he also doesn't seem to want to move up in the ranks, so he has no real motivation to go after the main characters.
I am firmly in middle management of this organization. I will fight you to maintain that. Oh, it looks like one of us is about to die. I'm leaving now because I don't want to advance or decline.
And he gets found out because Rin takes all of... This is such like a filler chapter setup. Rin takes all of Manji's swords to the cleaners. And while at the cleaners, she notices that the cleaner is cleaning her father's sword, which is owned by this swamp dude.
Yes.
Sword polisher. What is this? Oh yeah, nice Chinese sword, huh? That was brought in by some warrior that came through, and he said it was a bit of loot a couple of years ago.
Okay, so Rin is trying to be more mature, but she's trying to be her own vision of mature. And Manji, he basically, in showing her, it's like, no, if you're gonna do this authentically. And that causes him to be more emotionally invested in her. She's like, I don't need the sword. I'm moving past my parents' death so that I can avenge them. Which, like, that's
inherent contradiction. Yeah.
And then he's like, oh my god, just fine, I'll get you your stupid sword.
Her empathetic nature, like, and her reaction to getting the sword back, and also just to the whole effort of doing it in the first place, causes him to be that little bit more attached to Rin, because this is kind of the chapter where you start getting the sibling vibe from them. This is what develops that connection.
That vibe that they flip-flop on constantly.
They do flip-flop on it, yes, but...
Well, I guess Rin flip-flops on it is really the...
Yeah, that's the big thing. Manji's very consistent in how he feels about her. She's very inconsistent in how she feels about him.
Well, I mean, here's what the big thing is. He will make jokes at her expense, and she's a teenager. So, there you have it.
Also, Rin's entire character is like like she was forced to grow up really quickly, but like people aren't treating her like the adult she thinks she is. So what she's trying to do is like, if Manji sees her as a woman, that means like she is that like an adult.
An adult, yeah.
I mean, have we even touched on all of the inappropriate jokes he's made at her?
Yeah, because Manji's a dick. Like, he's a dude who murdered 100 people. I'm not expecting like moral superiority from him.
Yes.
He also says something like...
Manji's in that weird place where he's like, I'm such a low-level piece of shit that if you're worse than me, you're really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst Manji really does is just like, why would I be interested in a no-tit freak like you? It's like, oh, wow. Why would you say that?
Yes, he is very much his own litmus test.
I hit rock bottom and realized I needed to be a better person, which means I can judge what I'm seeing right now as you should have turned back before it was too late.
Fucking hitting the Camille be done. You're the kind of person who doesn't deserve to live.
And I think the big thing with Ren is that, like what Matt mentioned about, like, she was forced to grow up too fast. On the one hand, she needs to be like if she's committing to the revenge plot, she needs to be mature enough to be able to, make the right decisions and have the mental and emotional wherewithal to go through with everything. But on the other hand, she's 16. She's still a kid. So, like, she wants people to see her as an adult, but at the same time, she isn't. So there are moments where she
But I
shows
can also
weakness.
see the argument of time being of the essence here. She waited until she waited 2 years, which might have been a lot of time to sort of continue the momentum to enact revenge.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the point. Like there's an element of she does, like, if she's going to do this, she does need to do this, but at the same time, how much of a concession do you give for her age? And Manji, will generally speaking, is, like he will be the big brother when she needs it because she's having a vulnerable, still a kid moment. And on the other hand, he will push her and, like, mock and insult her to get her fired up in cases where she needs to step up. That's the relationship that they have.
And that's why when she's like, I don't care about my father's sword. He used it as a stupid trophy anyway. Manji's like, okay, yeah, no, you're totally not over this. You're just pretending for the sake of your...
crying into her pillow, drifting off to sleep. He's like, oh gosh.
Yeah. All right. I can't stand this drama. I'm gonna go solve this.
I'm not dealing with these womanly emotions. I'm gonna go murder someone.
I like this fight a lot more than I thought I would, because here's the thing. We don't know how long he's been alive exactly, but it's been decades at least. So you're like, okay, you've been alive for a long time. How do you still get caught by, like, tricks people do in a fight? You know?
Because he never learned how to actually fight is clearly what the implication is here.
No, and that's the point, because, he gets caught off guard, like, Swamp Boy, as we've called him, is like, haha, this land was once entirely flooded, so it's a whole bog, and I know where to stand to not sink in the bog, but you don't, idiot. And
yeah, I think the big thing is that Manji used to know how to fight really well, but his skills have atrophied from his immortality.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he's
attention to. Actually, now that I think about it, here's an interesting bit. He gets caught by this environmental trap, and then in a later arc, he mentally chastises an opponent for not paying attention to their surroundings. There is a level of, like, he's sort of, like, relearning his skills because he's having to fight people who are actually on his level.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There might be a strong element of Rin is going to grow into a stronger fighter. There is a non-zero chance that the manga is going to go in the direction that the revenge isn't worth it, and she just won't do this anymore. But the just sort of, like, if you take the manga at face value and ignore the possibility for twists, Rin is going to be developing as a fighter because she does not have the skills yet to get the job done. There's also an element of Manji is also on a journey of growth in his skills, but in a relearning what he had let, fall by the wayside rather than, breaking new ground.
And this particular chapter ends with Swamp Boy not realizing, oh, dude's immortal. As he leaves...
No, he explicitly does realize dude's immortal because he tells the rest of the crew about him.
Yeah.
Well,
he learns that now.
He learns that now because he leaves Manji to bleed out in the swamp and just walks away. And then Manji's like, actually, I can't die. Stab. Oh, crap, you can't die and I've been stabbed. Well, I'm just gonna leave now and tell all my bros about that. Crap,
Here's the sword I had.
He literally does actively just give Manji the sword.
Yeah, because he can still walk away from the fight at this point. Manji has no legs currently.
Yeah, because weirdly enough, I saw the exchange is like, one, obviously, like, he, ratted him out to his squad or whatever, but I feel like there was still a level of, like, respect in their degeneracy.
Oh yeah, these two legitimately respect one another.
Yeah, I think to a degree, actually, funnily enough, I'm pretty sure it's the next arc, where it's either the next arc or the one after that, but, like, there's a level of, like, these two are genuinely kindred spirits. They get each other, and it's one of those ones where, like, had the circumstances been different, they probably would have been very close friends.
Yes, I love that trope of like every anime. If only I had met you in a different life, we would have been friends.
Ah, yes, the Star Trek trope.
Yes.
In a different life, I could have called you friend.
I was unaware of that trope, but yes.
Okay.
But after that, we go into the Sekiro arc.
Yeah, because the manga's just like, having an immortal guy fight regular people really isn't fair. Let's introduce a bunch of lore shit that is probably going to complicate things going forward, but, let's do it.
Let's just go for it.
The chapters that we read really seem to think the mangaka thought this was going to be like a 48 chapter run minimum. And I then look at, the page count of this in total, and I'm like, there are 200 chapters of this. This ballooned way outside your scope, didn't it, homie?
Yeah, what is this, chapter 4 or 5 or something?
We're
Yeah,
going
4.
into 4.
Chapter 4 is really early on to a thing called Blade of the Immortal go, also, here's the poison that kills immortal people.
I thought, since we're on the topic of are we on the poison topic yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what the fight of this chapter's gimmick is. Yes.
Because Ren goes to the bathroom and a monk walks by and is like, ho ho, young samurai. It sure is funny how karma and life works, isn't it? Yeah, it sure is. What are you talking about? Oh god, I've been stabbed.
Well, there's also an element of we should work together in doing this thing. What's the thing? Working for the guy who killed Rin's dad. I'm not gonna do that. Well, here's my counteroffer.
He sounds like a dick.
Also,
well, knife.
Third counteroffer. You and I team up and control the world.
Yes,
what an insane escalation.
We're both immortal. We both are like basically the same. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, no.
You're right that we're both immortal, but like, what, dude?
Yeah. So the big thing here is, this is the next chapter. This guy thinks that he and Manji are kindred spirits in the way that Manji and Swamp Boy are.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is this guy, like, he reveals that he's lived for 200 years, going back an entire cultural period.
The heroes of yesterday were the warlords who oppressed like the people beneath them. The only people remembered are horrible people, so like the only way to like have any legacy is to be horrible. So join me being a mass murdering immortal psychopath, kind of is his entire vibe.
I mean, it has a lot to do with like leave your mark, and it's like leave your mark at any cost, which is why I like the win at any cost dojo.
Mm-hmm.
And for Manji, he doesn't care about that. Like it's not even necessarily that Manji wants to do good specific. Like, he does want to do good, but it's not even so much that he wants to do good specifically. He wants to like right the scales, that
he wants some like self-absolution. Like he wants his soul to be clean so that he can feel at peace dying. Whereas this guy has got like a very external view of like life.
Legacy is the only thing that ultimately matters, because those with no legacy are forgotten, disappear from history.
Mm-hmm.
And just at a fundamental level, the two of them just don't care about the same things. So every appeal that this guy makes is totally lost on Manji, because it's just not something that he cares about.
Yeah, also, they're incompatible and they should just go their separate ways. It's tough, man, but...
Also, we're skipping around a lot because this chapter is literally them talking on a bench, a flashback, and then a fight. This chapter is the most one thing happens in it. Like, well, no, I'm sorry. He gets poisoned, and then we get a second follow-up chapter. Because we find out this guy got the bloodworms from the nun. But then he says he was also in Tibet where the bloodworms came from. So
Eh.
I'm actually not remembering whether or not Manji just assumed he got it from the nun.
So he did get it from the nun, but he traveled to Tibet to learn more about them so he could count them.
Gotcha. Yeah. So basically, he stabs Manji with a knife, and then they go on their. I'm gonna live forever. At night, he starts like screaming in pain because all of the wounds that the bloodworms had like sewn up. Because the poison, we find out at the very end when it's explained, is a poison that specifically kills bloodworms. So it kills the bloodworms that are holding his flesh together.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I think the manga wants us to believe is happening.
It's
Yes.
essentially almost
Okay.
like a pesticide that, targets specifically these worms.
Okay, so the idea is that the bloodworms are still holding all of those wounds together. It's not really regarding the fact that the human body replaces a lot of its tissues continually over the course of a life. It doesn't matter because the bloodworms aren't real, so
It's magic. It undoes
Yeah.
the wounds. So because they've suffered mortal wounds with their immortal bodies, like
yeah.
It dissolves the worms that hold their flesh in place.
yeah, sure, why not?
That's
This
what they
works a lot
say.
better when it's just magic.
Yeah. This is the thing where I'm like, it's Sekiro because I'm immortal because I have a centipede in me. How? Because I have a centipede in me. No, but how does that make you immortal?
Yes.
I have a centipede in me.
I mean, it has something to do with mythology. I mean, they touch
It does, yes.
They even touch it in some Western iterations, but that's neither here nor there. There's a reason.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it gives enough of an explanation that you can just it gives up enough of an explanation to willingly suspend your disbelief.
No, the centipede actually means something. I
Yeah.
just can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, but they don't have a centipede. They have bloodworms in this, so this is not Sekiro.
Yeah.
Sekiro
Yeah,
has centipedes, though.
Yeah. The point being that there's a cultural meaning behind this, but it's not explored deeply enough in the source material for people who are familiar with it to gain a complete understanding. It's just like, all right, what do you need to suspend your disbelief? This? All right, cool.
A setting does not need to do its world building down to the gluons. This is a really sarcastic production recently noted.
Specifically calling out you and me.
Listen.
So anyway, because her boyfriend brother is dying in front of her, Rin goes running out into the night to find a doctor. Doesn't find a doctor, but luckily finds the nun.
She finds a doctor's office that says, away on a hot springs vacation, fuck off.
Yep.
But luckily, in the middle of the night, she runs into the nun, this 800-year-old woman who wears a hood completely over her eyes.
Yep.
And almost remembers Manji's name.
Ah, yes, that boy Kanji. Don't you mean Manji? Oh, what's in her name? I'm a millennium old.
I don't know. I was at the point with this character where I'm like, that could just be the old lady. She's kind of creepy. Because we find out she did give this, just psychopath bloodworms for seemingly no reason. Because this guy doesn't have the ideal that he is going to, right his way or anything.
Yeah.
This new guy was just made immortal for some reason.
This is the point where I actually start beginning to, question whether or not it's valid that she's even a woman of the cloth. Or is she just doing that for, shits and giggles? I don't know.
She could, yeah.
Well, I mean, she's also a Shinto priestess, right?
Yeah.
They say nun, but I don't think she's actually
okay.
I do not know. I don't know. But I could very much see there being a reveal later on of oh, I told you that. I was just bored. So
that is her vibe, yes. But I mean, this is designed for the audience to potentially be fooled too. That this is actually the real nun. But
she's a deceitful.
Yeah. this is done to kidnap Rin to draw Manji out.
Like, looking back on it, couldn't he have just kidnapped Rin? This seems like a really elaborate setup for almost
I
no
don't
reason.
I don't think he really wants Rin though.
Well, he needs something to get Manji to show up, or
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
so it's not Rin is
I
not the
guess-
target.
I guess he
He just-
didn't want to make a scene in town.
but he
I don't
doesn't
even think it's
really
that. I
care.
honestly think if Manji just said, "Yeah, screw it. We'll just take over the world."
We need to fill page count.
I think that might be what his plan is here. He gave Manji a taste of that he has the ability to kill him, so that will maybe make him seem like more enticing to join up with him. Because he explicitly could have killed him if he'd done like a full dose of the poison. He purposely gives him like a minor dose. So I think that's to entice him to show up. And then there's an elaborate plan to kidnap Rin that was probably unnecessary, but that's fine.
It's sort of a Journey to the West thing, where it's
Yeah.
like, Tripitaka needs to get captured.
Yeah. Because, like, the old woman he press ganged into pretending to be the nun, he stole her grandchild, and then after giving the grandchild back, just goes out. Oh, because she said she was going to go get help, he went out and killed her.
Yeah,
Or
and I mean,
he might have done that anyway, but
because the thing is, the reason the scene is here is to address the value of empathy, because like Rin, like she understands why the old woman did what she did, and like doesn't really blame her for her part in this, because you were saving your grandson. I get it. I'm not happy I'm tied up in a shack right now, but I'm not gonna hate you for this. And that's what prompts the grandma to be like, I'll go find help. And the immortal guy goes out and goes to kill her. And when he comes back, he's like, why did you care? The reason you're here is because she did this. And Rin doesn't really have much of an answer to give because she's a kid. She doesn't, like, this is an instinctive reaction on her part. So she doesn't really have a very good answer for, like, the answer to that question. The thing that he is lacking as an immortal who, like, let his immortality turn himself into a monster is empathy. Those lives matter, and killing them for something, killing somebody when you frankly do not need to is just a bad thing to do. There's not really much of any justification for it, which also ties back into is the revenge really necessary?
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing. It's like, it feels like the broader story theme of this manga is a whole bunch of murder-happy psychopaths desperately trying to find cultural and philosophical justify their action. Meanwhile, there's all these people who are just like, we're trying to live, please don't kill us.
Yeah, and that kind of sets Rin in the sort of center of this, where Rin is a character with one of the most justifiable reasons for doing what she's doing. The manga is intentionally making it hard to find, unambiguous justification for even her actions. So what's everybody else's excuse? Which is interesting because it doesn't completely abhor violence, like, categorically, because to a large degree the manga supports Manji's direction. Like, Manji is doing good with his, like, he's still indulging in his desire for violence, but he's atoning for mistakes by getting rid of bad people. That's the manga never really questions that decision.
Yeah, it also treats him a little differently with how he's trying to atone for it, whereas Rin is going on this quest, but, like, it kind of treats her with different gloves because she's not personally doing it. So she's kind of just creating more violence in this revenge, when what she could do is just move on. Whereas Manji's just trying to stop Rin from dying, so it's a more direct thing he's preventing.
Yeah. Like, Rin needs to make the choice of either get strong enough to do it yourself or let it go. And actually, sort of tying into that, because honestly don't know which direction that they're going to take Rin. I think that they could go either way, and because of this scene where she's talking with the Immortal guy,
We skipped over the part where he cut open his hand to say, "Lick my blood."
Yeah, no, yeah, this is the scene I'm talking about.
Okay, perfect.
I really like this scene because it's done in the creepiest way conceivable. So we gotta have that.
I too have watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and seen vampire.
But
I was just, this is a scene of like this just induced some nausea, because if you've ever seen tapeworm videos, like your little wormy dealies squiggling out of the cut in his hand, and he's saying like, if you lick it, the blood will go into you and you'll get your own tapeworms and you'll live forever.
Yep.
And then you can
Yummy.
revenge is really easy to get when you can live forever.
Yeah, so just throw yourselves to the dog. It will still hurt because you still feel every like stab, every cut, every wound that would kill you under normal circumstances. But yeah.
Yeah, and the sort of important thing here is, it's like, obviously this is there's so many reasons why anyone wouldn't want to do this, and Rin hesitates, but it seems clear to me that if Manji had not shown up, she would have done it. And that speaks to Rin being willing to put her money where her mouth is. Because like so many times she's been in the situation where she doesn't have the physical ability to go through with it. And that's why she's involving Manji and what we mentioned about, like how how to justify the violence that she's causing by going on the revenge quest. She's willing to do whatever it takes, which is why I sort of go along with the idea that she's probably the story's probably going to be about her like growing into someone strong enough to take her own revenge.
Yeah.
It's a really gnarly scene, and the fact that she was about to do it before Manji shows up to save the day, like the hero that he is, the main character that he is the only thing that prevents her, is a really strong character moment for Rin.
I don't remember if we mentioned this. It's interesting that Rin feeds him some like tablets from her like hair ring.
Oh yeah,
She's
that's
like,
not really explained, is it?
yeah, it's like, this is a poison antidote. I don't think that that's going to be at all helpful. Just take it, you idiot. And then he survives the poison. And meanwhile, Villain Man is just like, there is no antidote to this poison.
Yeah, it's
then why am I here, Fred?
Villain Man then says he didn't give him a lethal dose of the poison, so
yeah.
It's unclear if the antidote did anything.
I don't know.
I think it's supposed to be ambiguous on purpose, because he does also show surprise that Manji is on his feet and there in basically perfect condition. Like the poison should have kept him like weakened either indefinitely or longer. So, and it's like, is Manji just tougher than he expected? Did the antidote actually do something? Basically everything with Rin makes you ask the question of like,
how intentional was that?
Yeah, was that right? Did that do anything? Is this the right path? This is a sort of more, plot-based element of that. That legitimately might have just been a thing that made Rin feel better, like she was doing something to help. And like, if she is that useless, then why is she here? Or alternatively, maybe she did actually help him counteract the poison and get him on his feet faster. It's too soon to really say.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool because is this connected with any of her, assassin training techniques? But she says her mom like showed her.
Yeah, it was her mom's thing. So
it's like, what's mom got going on? Now I want to know more about mom.
Yeah, I could see them going down a direction because she said that's like a medicine her mom knew how to make or something.
Yeah.
And like, there is also the aspect of that she has the like throwing knives thing. Like, where did she even get the idea for that? So maybe the mom is tied into something.
Considering what we learn about her cousin later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also kind of weird, right? Because
we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to it. The point being, Rin is freed and sent to go retrieve the baby from lady as Manji and other immortal guy fight. And we don't actually see this fight, which is pretty cool because we just see, Rin coming back, peeking around a corner and running away just like, oh god, that was no, that's not swordsmanship. And then
that's not swordsmanship. It wasn't even
yeah, smash cut to Manji on the ground, villain, god, what's the fucking name?
I think we have avoided saying any of the villains' names currently.
Yeah, corrupted monk, I'll call him, because Sekiro. Corrupted monk is like crouching over him. They've both impaled each other with like a dozen weapons each, and it's just these two people like perched in this very uncomfortable, painful like stance, and also run through so much.
And the monk has a really funny line of dying shouldn't be this hard.
How many times do I have to savor the feeling of being stabbed through the heart?
Oh, I think we skipped my favorite line in the entire manga. But during the fight, at some point, Manji also mentions you rooted around in a girl's clothes because you lusted after her knives.
Oh yeah,
Sam.
yeah.
Hey! Leave me out of this!
Manji is right. That's weird.
But Jacob, we do need to remember the Russo-Japanese War happened. But when it does, Sam will be there.
Lusting after their knives.
Yes, more Russian assassins.
But yeah, the final bout between the two of them, the monk coats his sword in the
Immortal killing poison.
In the this kills the main character poison.
Mm-hmm.
We get we get some, sword fight action panels. Oh no, this is where we get the pawing through clothes because he lusted for knives.
Yes, it is.
that was the right place for that bit. Rin pops in and helps distract him so that Manji can slice the container that has poison in it and then deliver the final blow. The incredibly elaborate final blow that results in him being sliced to ribbons and pinned to a tree.
Yep.
He
I was actually like anticipating who else was shocked that he's actually saying that he was going to like die, or it was alluded to that was like their one weakness.
Well, he got cut by the blade he'd coated in poison, right? It fell back on him.
No, that was one of Manji's weapons, but during the fight, Manji, they show a panel of the poison container sliced by a blade. Manji had cut the
that
container to get the poison on his sword. Which is a cool reveal because it's like, it's like they have him, like he's all cut up, like his limbs are literally strewn across the battlefield, and he's pinned to the tree, but he's like, okay, this is the end for me. And I'm like, wait, this is the end for him? And then, like, as you're reading, it reveals in a panel a little bit later that, oh, Manji had like set that up.
Mm-hmm.
He's carved up so thoroughly that he's a rib cage, a spine, and a head.
Yeah. The whole thing about like legacy is the only thing that matters. That's the way he initially frames it, but the more he talks, the more it becomes negative of like, I don't want to be nothing. I don't want to be a worm. And it made me think of the idea because like, Manji does not want to die yet. This guy, he's like lost the will to live to a degree because like he kind of knew that Manji had like set him up for a finishing blow and like could have like backed out and escaped if he wanted to preserve his own life, but he was just done. And it made me think of the idea that eternal life is only a curse if you have nothing to live for.
Well, because he's only done because Rin yells that. Which favorite part about this means canonically they are constantly shouting out the flashbacks that are happening.
Yeah.
So Rin was just like, "Hey, wait, that doesn't make any sense," and he's just like, "Oh fuck, you're right. Well, that's enough for me to hesitate and accept death." Maybe I was a coward.
I did seek immortality to fight for my shogun. Then my shogun died in the Sengoku Jidai, and I just kind of existed as an immortal guy with no cause.
Yeah.
And my
Really?
wife died.
And then my wife died, and then my wife died, and then my wife died, and then my
Yeah,
wife
he's-
died.
I
He goes
really
in
loved
and
my
says-
first wife.
Yeah. Poor guy. He's like, I've taken like 5 wives, and it's just like I can only take so much, you know?
And also way more best friends. I am not a wife guy. My
I
wife
lost too many homies.
Any of my 5 wives were not my best friends. My best friends, though. Pour
Ouch.
one out.
That
My
was the
wives,
one that
my
hurt.
homies.
Oh, shit, I accidentally poured out my immortal killing poison. Damn it. Dang, that would have been really useful for the evil team I'm part of to have now that they know they're fighting an immortal guy.
Damn it, that worm killing poison that's only in Tibet.
Oh, because we're definitely not going to remember this at the end. Anyone want to take any bets to how many chapters it takes for the worm killing poison to come up again?
Oh god. Oh.
Probably about
Within
40.
20. I
Yeah.
think within the next 20.
I mean, does he mention Tibet to like anyone, or is this like internal monologue? I thought it was
No,
internal.
He mentions
No,
it to
he
Manji.
me-
Oh
I thought
my
he mentioned-
gosh!
I thought it was mentioned to Rin in the because
Oh right, he does say it to Rin, yeah.
we say jokes about their shouting out their backstory flashbacks, but like he was giving his backstory to Rin in the shack.
Mhm.
To some degree, he was shouting out the things that are happening.
Yeah, that was also true. Yes, and both are true, and one of
So
them is a
anyway.
lot funnier than the other.
So anyway, we don't know how long this other immortal man was affiliated with the antagonists, do we?
Oh,
The Itoryu school.
So we
the antagonists have only been around for like 10 years, if that.
ish
Mhm.
that. Okay. So then so he doesn't have the same will to die, so I guess that would make sense that he wouldn't say, "Hey, by the way, this special ability that I have, there is a weakness." Cuz if he's all
He's
about
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not
Well-
as invested in them as.
Yeah, also, he repeatedly mentioned that poison. He says this to Rin constantly. The poison is completely worthless. It only kills those, like, bloodworms. So, like, there's no reason to talk about it to anyone other than you were telling them how to kill immortals. Which, if you're currently an immortal, maybe you don't do that.
Yeah, maybe. But this is the halfway point of our reading, so we take a quick break here
Woohoo.
and dive into the next section with more questions about lineage and yeah, we'll be right back.
grab a quick drink. No, wait, that's the worm killing poison.
Oh, thank God you're fine, because you're not an immortal. Unless.
And welcome back to the show, folks, where last we left our Brony. The hunt for the man that had his parents continues. Funny thing about this, all they know is that his Anotsu. They don't know anything else about him.
Mhm.
So they are continuing their hunt, but we open up our next chapter with something a little different. It is our villain Anotsu and a woman just reclining on a tatami
A
mat.
futon, yeah.
Yeah. I was perplexed by this because I'm just like, okay, we are in the, the time and the place, and I assume his group
Is this some pillow talk or?
Well, I just assumed that he had just utilized her services because his group is apparently doing very well financially right now. I don't know.
Yeah. This section brings up an interesting thing because the whole point of this, like, Itoryu school is we are going to form this this sword path that is revolved only around victory. We're going to learn the most powerful sword techniques of the dojos we defeat, and then we're going to shatter. So basically, they're developing MMA. It's like, all right, cool. Very intense and ambition-driven, motivation here. But we see that, big man in charge of this, Kage, he is kind of struggling both internally with his motivation and with the actualization of his plan. Because when your entire sales pitch is, we're the strongest and the coolest, come fight with us, we're the best, you're just gonna get a bunch of losers that want to be with the pack of tough guys.
You get bullies flocking around the actually strong.
Yep. But the opening of this is him recounting a dream he had to this woman, where it's like, yes, I remember being confronted by a dog, and then the dog was cut in half by this powerful warrior who was a young girl, and then my grandpa beat the shit out of both of us. Crazy, huh?
Well, he doesn't reveal that it was a warrior that sliced the dog initially, right? This takes some deeper reflection.
He talks around it, but the way he describes and the way that the panels are cut, it's like he's like basically saying, yeah, and she had blue-white skin like someone who was dead, and her eyes were very sad. Does that sound familiar to you, person who is obviously the girl in my story grown up?
Wow.
Cut to a like half page of this woman looking incredibly sad.
Wow.
So it's like he's half talking around the story because he's revealing that he knows who she is.
Wow.
Because he is in fact extremely extra.
He is extra.
As most people in this are, because as Anji and Rin are sitting around enjoying some food and trying to plan their next move, it's like, okay, so we know that the guy that we want to kill will be moving to this other town in about 2 weeks. Why bother going there and hunting him down in an area? Why don't we just shack up in an inn on a major thoroughfare on the way there, wait for him and jump him on the road? That's a really good idea, Manji. Yeah, it's almost like you should think sometimes, dumbass.
I have maybe done this before 100 times.
I'm just saying, this is kid versus adult. She needs an adult.
I mean, she's 16. That's like the.
I know. I mean, if I wanted to be mean, she kind of needs someone with a more developed prefrontal cortex. But yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, she's well past the ability to have ideas part of her brain working, part of development.
Nah, you don't get that until you're 30.
I don't think that's true. Whatever.
But we speaking of things being extra, I do really like how much of this manga goes in on like the really artistic depiction of like art forms. Like we had, Mick3head at the beginning of the manga with his poetry, but while our two protags are like hashing out their plan, we cut to a woman walking down a hazy road with poetry like scrawling down from the skies to towards her.
Yeah, and that's to depict her singing.
As she's playing her shamisen. Is that a shamisen?
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it to.
She's playing a stringed instrument.
I don't think it's a shamisen, but I don't know enough to say with certainty.
It looks like a banjo, and I thought shamisen were like more wider, and you'd play them on the ground. But
I think you're thinking of another instrument, but I
oh,
can't
maybe I
remember
am.
the name off the top of my.
Oh, a keytar. I was thinking of a keytar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, she she has a moment where she sees some kids playing, sees a girl being left behind, and it's just like, why are you not keeping up with your friends? Because I've got bad lungs and I can't do cardio that well. Well, I'm sure that your plight will not at all be resonant with my tragic backstory.
Now allow me to have thoughts on the nature of womanhood.
I will do that, and then I will walk up to Manji and be like, "Hey, big boy, you wanna fuck?"
I love his reaction is, if you're out here in the middle of the day, then no.
You're not a good prostitute, and that's clear.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh, I just saw this animal has rabies.
I mean, essentially, yes.
Yeah.
I love that Manji decides to go with her because, well, she's either a bad prostitute or a bad assassin. I'm curious about which one it is.
Either way, I kind of want to know.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I kind of want to know.
All right, lady, let's go to this back alley and do the do.
And do something. I'm about to find out what.
I mean, definitely gotta live out life on the edge when you know you're immortal.
Yeah, like he starts, making out with her, grabbing at the boobs, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's this? A poisoned knife? You're an assassin. Let's do battle." And then
it is funny that at first she's like, "Oh, that's for self-defense, obviously." Yeah, this is coated enough poison to kill an elephant. You don't need this for self-defense.
You don't know that.
And he says that while licking the poisoned blade because that's what he does.
Because that's what turns him on.
Yep.
It's an aphrodisiac. act. Little did you know.
Oh, so actually, this reminds me, we skipped over it in chapter 1. Speaking of Manji eating weird stuff, so in chapter 0, does he just eat a horse turd for no reason?
I don't know.
Ah.
I've looked back at it and I don't know.
Because his adopted, like the weird situation with that woman, his adopted sister is mentally disadvantaged to say the least. Hands him this and goes like, "I found you a tea cake on the road." He's just like, "Oh, honey, that's not a tea cake. That's a horse nugget." And then she goes off to go do something. He then proceeds to bite the thing in his hand, and I'm not. Why did he do that? What? Why did he do that? So
he
anyway,
didn't want her to feel bad.
But she wasn't there. She wasn't there to look at it.
And he called her stupid for grabbing it in the first place. So her feelings clearly didn't matter. So he just ate a horse turd because he wanted to.
He tries to be honest with her. I mean, at least in that showing. I mean, I don't think he's ever really lied. Has Manji ever?
Well, he said, "Yeah, I'll totally take you up on your prostitute services." Like
that might have been a true.
Okay, sure.
Maybe he get down like that. I don't know.
The point being, he's just like, "You aren't any normal an assassin." And sure enough, she opens up the shamisen and busts out the 7-section stave, and I'm like, all right, cool. I love this kind of weapon. This shit is so stupid and impractical. It's gonna be rad as fuck fight. And then she immediately gets bodied because why are you using a 7-section stave in a narrow alley? That, like, I just basic trigonometry would tell you that this thing that requires such a wide swing would not work in this battlefield.
Oh, I love the art, like when she's taking it out proper and is like stands up to begin the fight. The look on her face of how she's so done. She does not want to do this.
It is a really good panel.
Like not even in like she doesn't want to do this in a fear sense. She's like, oh god, it's gotta file my taxes.
Are we really doing this? Okay, here we go.
Yeah, and this is the bit where we get somebody, Manji mentally chastises them for not paying attention to the environment. She's got excellent speed, and she has way more power than that tiny frame should be able to generate, but she's just fighting like an amateur, and he's very, very disappointed. This is the worst prostitute he's bought in a long time.
This is both the worst prostitute and the worst assassin.
Like, seriously, you couldn't even do one of them good? Come on! Ugh, I'm leaving. I've got blue balls in 2 senses.
My
Oh.
client left unsatisfied. I then thought to what my mother had told me. Why would you want to be a swordsman? Be a prostitute if you're going to disappoint me.
Yeah,
Little did she know.
really-
Did she know I could disappoint her twice as by failing to do either.
Oh my god, that's like legit. That is what she says.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, the best part is that's actually legitimate plot.
Thanks,
Like,
Mom.
Oh.
And yes, I'm
She's
aware it is culturally relevant, but I'm like, geez, the Stark type. What?
And it cuts to her just being like, well, might as well go be a prostitute. I'm kind of too high class for that. Okay, I'm gonna go be a geisha.
Yeah, because I think the implication is that she was, the fact that she was topless was weird in that opening scene, because I think she's supposed to already have been a geisha.
Mm-hmm. She was. So she did work at the brothel, and then recently became a geisha. And then when we were
Yeah, when we first encounter her at the beginning of the chapter, she's already a geisha, like,
Mhm.
because she maybe got a little bit too close to this particular client or whatever is the reason why the main
that
villain
was
guy figured out who she was.
I thought that was another woman, the woman who got too close and tried to run away from the brothel.
No, it's her. That because there's a whole thing about her cutting her hair because she has decided to take it. She's walking the line between her 2 lives currently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she's fence setting, so to speak.
yeah, so she doesn't have the heart in her to be an assassin. We find out later she's got the talent for it. Is kind of the problem here, but like
Yeah.
She doesn't like killing.
Yeah,
She's really good at it, but she doesn't like it.
And I think what she tried to do was be a prostitute, but she couldn't like handle it. And then like left that, got someone to buy out her contract, and then is working in the geisha house until she pays that back so she can go figure out what she's doing with her life.
She needed to take a gap year.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Unfortunately, the person who bought out her contract was our villain, Anotsu, who's just like, listen, I don't need you to pay me back. I don't need you to be a whore, be the geisha. I don't need anything. You're an extremely talented warrior. I need you to do that because my like revolution of swordsmanship, my brand is falling apart because I've just got a bunch of fucking nobodies here. McThree had died 10 chapters ago, and he was my best guy.
A couple of scenes we're skipping around, but just for the sake of it making sense to listen to. The plot line on that side is that and like the crazy flashback of
Yeah.
The flashback, that's a whole chapter.
Yeah. What's going on here is that when he decided he was going to have a swordsmanship style in school, that literally the only rule was win, it's going to attract a mass of complete dregs, both people who are untalented, who just want to flock to the strong so that they don't have to be strong themselves, and people who are just abject evil. Hi, 3-headed guy, you currently only have 2, but you're still that guy.
He's just doing regular ass jobs, but apparently killed his wife and sewed her head onto his body, but is just a normal ass guy in this flashback.
He is a swordsman in that dojo.
He's like a butler for the dojo, because like the first thing he says, by the way, I'm totally willing to do shit that the dojo wouldn't like.
3-headed guy, like, he addresses directly, are you willing, like with what your goal is, are you willing to just let anybody in who's strong? Because, I mean, I'm okay with the idea, and you've met me, I'm a freak.
I love how self-aware he is. He's just like, I'm a weirdo. Are you willing to have more people like me?
And it's it is a good show of the villain's resolve where he's like, yes, I will do whatever it takes. Because there's a sort of like single-minded obsession that is a parallel to like her dedication to her revenge is not dissimilar to his dedication to, you know, having his swordsmanship style reign supreme.
I mean, kind of, but like the flashback we get for why he like decides to go about this, because like Rin kind of just wants personal revenge. He's going out against like full societal change.
Yes.
Well, what they want is different, but the dedication and the motivation and the willingness, whatever it takes, is the same.
Yeah.
Anotsu's he's like, man, I'm sick of this generational trauma bullshit. The fact that I've lived a crummy life getting abused by my grandfather because he got slighted by a guy like 50 years ago is stupid. I'm gonna lash out in a way that will satisfy that grudge.
Well, also because like there's the whole thing about how he was rescued from the dog by a girl, and that was a huge dishonor.
Yeah. What do you mean you were saved by a girl? What do you mean you needed to be saved? You had a sword. You could have fought, you stupid failure.
No one can know about this. Even your death isn't enough to expunge the dishonor of being saved by a girl. So we're going to have her murdered by 50 dogs that live in the woods.
Yeah, we're going to beat the crap out of her until she falls asleep and then put her up on a tree branch, and that'll attract the rest of this wild dog pack, and we'll see what happens in the morning.
And we'll put a sword in her hand so we can pretend like we gave her a fighting chance. But grandfather, what if she kills all 50 dogs in the middle of the night as if she were literally like a Quentin Tarantino character?
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's stupid, boy. Why would that ever happen? Well, I actually went back to the tree and came back traumatized because there's so much fucking blood. I don't think
so many dead dogs.
I don't think you understand how much gore 50 dead dogs makes. Wait, you mean she did it?
Oh wow, that's hardcore. Also, we're gonna have a whole thing about how her brother was supposed to inherit the dojo, but when she was, I think if I've read the timeline right, 3 years old.
No, she was older than that.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
I'm not sure what the stated ages imply, but the panel, like in the panels, it shows her.
No, clearly she must be older than 3, but like I thought I did the math correctly, and she has to be. She has to be ridiculously young to be winning these fights as she did, which is kind of the point, but
yeah.
So I think she's supposed to be like around 8 to 10. Which I don't know. I didn't do the math, so if she's actually would have had to have been like 3, that's pretty funny.
She was clowning on people. She was clowning on people several times her age is the important.
Yeah. So basically, the whole thing is she is a sword like prodigy. Like she inherited 5 generations of samurai swordsmanship.
Yeah,
and her
in
brother.
Fact, they actually said that the greater shame was the fact that this family's talent reincarnated itself into a girl.
Because the girl can't pass on that legacy. What are women gonna do? Like, samurai legacy is not gonna help you do any laundry or take meeting notes.
What? You're only going to bear the child. That doesn't mean you're going to pass on the power.
Everyone knows you are just the field in which the fully formed human seed is planted. Spermiogenesis is a fun theory to look up.
You're making me really sad.
Good. It's up and you shouldn't be okay with that sort of.
You should agree with the villain who, upon hearing this, decided... the other thing is because the brother was defeated, he committed seppuku to reclaim the family's honor. And while his grandfather yelling, "That's a boy!" Now he proved he had samurai spirit because he like took the honorable way out. And then he leaves that meeting going like, no, he just fucking ganked himself because he couldn't handle being beaten by someone stronger.
No,
and,
he couldn't handle being beaten by a girl.
Yeah, a girl who was stronger.
But yeah, main villain is just like, it doesn't matter that she was a girl. She was stronger. The If we want to be swordsmanship to be as good as it can be, we should be doing the things that are better. We should be letting the people who excel at it excel. Why are we creating this tradition and nonsense that is just hampering progress? And then he goes on this fun little rant about like Nobunaga brought guns to bear and no one thought that was dishonorable. They were all like, that guy's super smart. But
yeah, because
suddenly
they were far in technology. Like, why didn't we have the outrage then? We're like, ew, this is dishonorable. These barbaric weapons. No, we thought them shits are badass, and they work, so we used them.
And I'm just walking away from this chapter going like, I think the villain's just objectively correct.
He's just right.
Yeah, see, because like to a large degree, yeah, the villain does legitimately have a point. That's intentional. The problem is he also murdered a bunch of people for.
The problem is he's fighting against a societal structure, and these were people adhering to the old guard, and objectively their society is based on like might makes right. The problem is they've like institutionalized and like philosophized the might into might is defined by whatever I'm already good at rather than this is objectively what it is. He's kind of just bringing them to like the honesty of I am stronger than you and I won. That's arguably what Bushido should be about, but you've made these stupid rules that like just support the thing that's already in power. Now he's going too far, but that's because he's got a group of psychopaths behind him. But the problem is it's not like the people already in power weren't going too far. They're just speaking from a position of privilege, so I guess we have to empathize with them. Who knows?
No, that's the thing. He is coming from a right-headed place, but he's going way too far with it. I mean, not for nothing. I mean, like, this is just an example. He could beat people up with blunt swords and be like, might makes right. I beat you.
Is that the philosophy, though? Because the philosophy is, like, might makes right. So, like...
Win doesn't necessarily mean kill.
But I think that's kind of what his whole thing is. Like, they've done a bunch of pomp and circumstance.
Well, that's ultimately what the flaw is, because win doesn't mean kill. It doesn't have to mean kill.
Win doesn't have to mean kill, but like you were saying, Matt, the cultural zeitgeist is so wrapped up in the idea of Bushido and the idea of a good death. It's the entire thing of like Manji and all these other blood-soaked maniacs trying to justify killing.
If you don't want to die, don't fight me, is the other thing. Like, just value your life.
He could absolutely be winning in a non-lethal manner, but even though he's fighting against what he sees as a corruption of his culture still says winning equals killing.
And the other thing too is, mentioning the if you don't want to die, then don't fight me. Well, Rin's dad didn't want to fight him.
His dad was also perpetuating a system that was flawed. Is kind of like that is his viewpoint here. Like her dad needed to die. Is kind of the problem
from his perspective, and that's like the sticking point, because
that's why, because it's like, again, like the ideas that he have aren't inherently wrong, but it's being framed that like, okay, well, killing is the only option. No, it isn't, and that's what makes him the villain. Like his ideals aren't necessarily wrong, it's the way he's going about it. And then another element that's important to this, and the reason why we're getting this information, the woman here who is like the antagonist for this chapter, I wish I was better with names than I am. But like
Makio, I believe her name is
Makio. Like the thing with Makio is she doesn't want to do this, and like his like meritocratic viewpoint is like, because she can fight, she has to. And I get it's one of those ones where it's like, you can get where he's coming from, but she shouldn't have to be forced to fight just because it's something that she's good at, especially if it's something that causes her this much strife and it results in a bunch of people dying when they don't necessarily have to. Like he's the type of villain that has legitimate, strong, defensible points, but he goes so extreme that you have to oppose him, because all's letting him do what he wants is going to result in is death and chaos. Absolutely spectacular villain in that.
It's really, really good writing for a villain.
And all she wants to do is marry him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This poor girl.
Well, does she? Does she? I never got that she was too gung ho for it.
She wants to live a normal, happy life, and she has a strong emotional attachment to him. So she would like to marry someone like her idea of him.
Her character's also got like a themes of like what is womanhood about her too. Is like she's got options of
her first real examination of this is being told that womanhood is inherently weak and useless. So,
and she's objectively not weak. Like she's incredibly strong,
so that's where it draws such conflict. She happens, and I think that really there's almost a bit of irony in her being the embodiment of that not being true.
She is probably, as far as our reading, she is probably the strongest character in this manga.
Yeah, and it's like, and she just happens to be a woman that the entire world is telling her women are the weakest and so disgraceful by their mere existence.
I mean, and the funny thing is, the one person. Well, actually, no. There are two people who, because like Rin doesn't really interact with her very much because most of Rin's involvement in this section of the story is a comic misunderstanding.
Oh, Rin is upset. Rin is not sure why her teenage emotions are all up in arms about why her not boyfriend would see a prostitute.
It's very cute.
I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. Now what?
I would care if my dad did it. I would be upset if my brother did it. So him doing it, it's fine for me to feel jealous. Wait,
jealous or disappointment?
She's 100% jealous.
Yes, and I'm like, no, I'm just disappointed.
I'm disappointed, not jealous. I'm disappointed, not jealous. I'm really jealous. I don't want to think about this.
Now watch me take out my braids so I have sexy long hair, and it's just like, do you really think I'm such an unattractive twig of a woman now? You're even worse.
It's such a good scene. But yeah, Maki is the strongest. Is the strongest warrior in the manga, and the only two people who show her any modicum of respect are the main villain and Manji. Eventually, once she locks in and actually takes the fight seriously and like discards her inhibitions, then Manji absolutely respects her. Before that, he is very rude and very cruel to her, but not because she's a woman, because she's not taking the fight seriously and she's not giving it her all. And the other sort of interesting element of this is that the way that empathy is playing into this manga, they've not addressed it directly yet, but it's really clear that like a lot of the stuff associated with Rin and a lot of like her indecision comes from a place of empathy. And it's also really interesting that for Maki, there is an element of that too, but it's not entirely that, because there is also want to do she doesn't enjoy it. So how much of it is, her not wanting to kill, and how much is it like with the painter guy from the beginning of it's not something I enjoy, so I just walk away. Why won't people let me walk away? And like that in relation to like empathy is not an inherently feminine trait, but it is culturally coded as the more feminine thing. So, like her weakness is really more indecision and not having her heart in the fight, rather than it being the empathy. And like so many characters frame that as that being her like womanly weakness, whereas Manji is just like, I know you can take this seriously. I know you can properly kill me. So either properly kill me or walk away. I don't care which.
Also, we're going to establish here that if you cut my head off, I'm not sure if Manji's lying to her or not.
Yeah.
He kind of just says that in this fight. And
that's part of the reason why I wasn't sure if the other guy like let him know how else he could die. Like,
I think
truly decapitation?
I don't think decapitation. based on what we know about the worms, I don't understand why decapitation would work. It makes just as much sense for Manji to try and goad her into doing something like some finality to get like an action out of her, because Manji's whole thing is she's walking a line and not really committing to either side. Like, do something and be good at it, but don't do whatever the fuck this is I'm looking at right now. And like, you're
Yeah.
really good at fighting. I'd really like it if you were a really good fighter. But then she comes to terms with because Rin comes in and jumps on top of him as he's about to get ganked. And
because she wins the fight very unambiguously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and if she takes his head back to her not boyfriend boss will marry her, and that's what she wants, because she wants a happy life where she doesn't need to.
Her not boyfriend boss, who is her first cousin. We're not.
Oh my gosh! It in the grand scheme of things, Sam,
Yeah.
it's just
Actually, feudal Japan,
Also-
I think that's still completely normal.
yeah.
That's a relatively recent
Yeah,
change.
Sam, you're weird. Anyway,
You're weird for not fucking your cousin, if anything.
but another thing that also occurred to me in this particular chapter, as we're exploring more of her conflict and the fact that she joined up with our antagonist, there's also the argument that can be made because, she was the supposed heir of this, prestigious they were prestigious samurai family, I think.
Yes.
I mean, as prestigious as any samurai family can be,
So
yeah.
so what I would say is this arguably not only is she strong, but it grants some legitimacy, I guess, to his brand, that he is partnering with someone from a samurai family and saying, hey, this woman was also slighted because she just happened to be born a woman, but we
won't throw her away.
Yeah. And she comes from a legitimate samurai house. So, I mean, like, yeah. It's unconventional, but it's still powerful.
I don't know if he has the political machinations for that.
But, I mean, that was a thought.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does have those thoughts. Like, he seems relatively up on what his philosophy is.
Yeah, it touches on it briefly. There's a couple of scenes. They don't, like, drill into it as a main scene, but it's in the scenes where, like, either like I think some of it's couched in the flashback, and some of it's in the final arc of our reading, where he's talking about like why he's doing what he's doing. He understands that what he's doing, like, he doesn't care about the politics. He doesn't care about the grand scheme of things, but he recognizes if he doesn't do something about the politics, about the zeitgeist, won't ultimately change anything. He can change his own way of thinking, but he won't be able to he won't cause a sea change in fighting anywhere but where he happens to be standing. So he's aware he needs to be political, even if he doesn't like it and doesn't care to, which, now that I say that out loud, kind of ties into what I was saying.
So yeah, anyway, Rin jumps on to save Manji. She's like, I'm not going to cut his head off, and I'm not going to get married. I'm going to find my own way. I don't like hurting people. And I wasn't good at being a prostitute. But at least prostitutes are an honorable profession in that they are not giving pain, they are giving pleasure. And that's the sentence I'm going to go off on.
Yeah, that immediately struck me the wrong way. Like, I get what she's saying, because she's arguing that her mother, at least, there is nobility in her mother wanting to bring comfort. She didn't see it as being demeaning to be, working in a brothel. She comforted people and made them feel better, and therefore that was the more noble profession.
I also don't think prostitute necessarily has the exact same stigma in.
Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
If you read some of the historical text, arguably you can argue that Christianity brought that stigma, but yeah, it still was perceived a certain way simply because, unfortunately, for health reasons, there they weren't always the best, you know. Yeah. But I don't know. It just kind of was odd because if she's already tried it and decided or found that she didn't really like it or she didn't really enjoy it, just saying that your mother found fulfillment in it and therefore you must find fulfillment in it is just not right.
Well, that's the problem is she doesn't know where she's going to find fulfillment. She's not finding fulfillment in fighting because it hurts people, but she's really good at it. And it's hard for that like disconnect because main villain is just like, no, you're really good at this. You should be proud of this. The whole thing you're going on, that's like society getting in your head and telling you you shouldn't be proud of like the fact that you're stronger than them. But she's got something in her that's just like, something's wrong about this. I don't want to do this. I don't know what will make me happy. The thing I'm good at isn't making me happy. I think I'd like a married life where I just get to housewife it up, but like that's far beyond where I am currently. So I don't know what will make me happy.
I just have to move forward with what I know until I can find.
Yeah.
So she leaves a note on her not boyfriend's door and he chases her out into the rain.
It was beautiful. I still ship them. You know what? I ship the hell out of them. I don't care.
It is interesting that it seems like from that flashback, it indicates his entire plan was brought about because of how she was slighted by the world.
Pretty much.
Maybe this is an entire
to some
romance.
degree. I mean, they were both slighted is the thing. Like he was slighted, and then here's this person who was like the ultimate talent who also got slighted.
The way
I don't
he was
know how
slighted
much
was more like, this is kind of nonsense that the world is doing this. More so, she was directly slighted by like, you are good, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I do think it's also worth noting that like she definitely has feelings for him, but they're not necessarily for the real him. And I don't think that he actually loves her. I think he just respects her ability to kill people. So
I don't know. I thought that at first. I thought he was like, hey, you're really good at this thing. And, you know, I want to enhance my brand. But I also think there's a bit of like mutual like attraction.
He does chase after her in a way that's not like, he doesn't immediately write her off the second
and he
she's
doesn't
not
like
doing
immediately start cursing and saying, oh, that woman, my plan. Like, it's actually
that's true.
He's not the Inuyasha villain we were introduced to in chapter 1.
Yes. He's legitimately like, oh no, this person I care about is genuinely conflicted.
It could very easily be the situation of like he's so emotionally invested that like he didn't intend to feel anything for her, but he's grown to care about her in a more intimate way.
I ship them. That's all I have to say.
Speaking of the main villain have a little depth. You want to speed run Rin's adventure while Manji's passed out? Because holy shit.
Well, I mean, the big thing with the first half of this, the final arc of our reading, the first half of this is entirely just directly addressing the fact that.
What do you mean I can't train on the stuff I have for was taught to me 5 years ago?
Yeah, if Rin is going to do this, she needs to be dedicated to getting stronger, which by sheer happenstance, how about that? She stumbles across somebody else training in the woods. I'm sure I sure hope they're not a plot relevant character.
Wait a minute, it's the BBEG.
Honestly, the fun bit with this, you know, we have a brief confrontation between the two, but obviously Rin is not strong enough to go up against the BBEG yet. She still hits him, though. I kind of like this because, like, obviously, like, Rin is, as she is right now, Rin is not good enough. She is in over her head. But, like, they do show these glimmers of she's not, like, the reason she's incompetent is because of poor training, not necessarily because of lack of talent. Like, we haven't seen what her limits are yet.
Drive, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen what her limits are yet. She's out of her depth via not being properly trained.
Yeah, right now the biggest limit seems to be like not so much her like dedication to do the physical work, it's more like her emotional voice.
Well, and also just a lack of people to teach her is another problem that she's had, because
The second Manji's like, no, hitting 3 of 12 shots on your stupid knife throw move isn't good enough.
He tears this technique apart, going like, I can tell this is self-taught because you shouldn't be doing any of this. This is not a good idea. Learn a real technique.
Which, like, on the one hand, he's being harsh, sure, but also she's breaking down crying from the first criticism. Like, okay.
and he does also directly address the idea that it's like, if you actually want to get stronger, like, this isn't just about practicing. If you actually want to get stronger, you need to know what you're bad at. I'm telling you what you're bad at, and you're bad at, here's the laundry list. You're bad at more than what you're good at, but I'm telling you this because this is how you get better. As I mentioned in previous arcs, she's shown her dedication to this. So I have a bit of a prediction for when we get to the discussion at the end. She is going to, from the experience that she's dealing with currently, properly find the path of the war. When she's fighting against BBEG, she tries to pick up a weapon that he had been practicing with previously and finds that it's like a ton and a half.
Heavy.
I think that is actually a real type of weapon.
It's a weird looking machete.
It's a weird looking heavy machete.
I am practicing with this to be able to wield it like a katana, because it's like, he mentions katanas are incredibly good at cutting things. Arguably the best tool in the world for that. However, there are so many ways of defending against that. If I use this, on the other hand, big, heavy, I think it's technically a type of hammer. I think it's technically classified as a war pick, but whatever. If I use this, I can smash the katana in half and the skull hiding behind. This is not a samurai's weapon. This is a weapon someone uses to win. Goes on to explain the philosophy that we've been going over. This is the scene where it really just peels back all the layers and explains out loud in words that this villain is not simply the cartoon villain he was presented as in chapter 1. He's got depth and complexity to him.
Yeah, there's a whole back and forth with him holding Rin at like arm's reach, like pinning her to a wall and just being like, she's like, go ahead and kill me right now. And it's like, that seems wasteful. Like, you're not a threat. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on there. There's something in your eyes that's interesting. You've got a degree of motivation to be strong. Like, there's a seed of potential there, but you should actually do it, because whatever this nonsense is, like, you're begging for death currently?
Shouldn't you be begging for your life so that you can get stronger and actually kill me like you say you want?
Just lie. Say you're going to do whatever and leave, and then come back and kill me another time when you have a chance. You don't have a chance now. And she's just in tears because she's so frustrated that there is literally nothing she can do. He is so far out of her, like, abilities to kill.
Like, seriously, stop. Why are you treating this like a one shot? I'm giving you so many options to walk away and try this boss fight again.
Yeah, we are only a few chapters in, girl. You got so much more. I believe in
so much more manga. Yeah, there is a sort of funny I believe in you. And actually, one of the things that hurts Rin the worst is he says that I can tell from the look in your eyes you're willing to it's like those knives that you used on me that actually got a hit on me. Your father would call that a heresy. You're already halfway to being Itairyu.
And that's the other thing that really stings, is she's supposed to be like her father's legacy, the remaining person like heralding his sword style. And she's out here using assassin techniques. Like, this isn't, it kind of tings back to like, is going out and murdering these people really the true revenge here? Or would it be maintaining her father's sword technique? Like,
there isn't a simple answer to it, because it's like, the injustice should be addressed, but at the same time, is this just, creating more pointless stuff? And moreover, like, her motivation to be strong whatever noble cause does sort of create this parallel between the two of them. Sort of similar to I mentioned earlier, like her willingness to, lick an open wound to obtain bloodworms, like that's something that he would absolutely do. He'd do that in a heartbeat. I guess the big difference between them is that she still has a element of questioning whether or not it's worth it from a emotional and moral standpoint, and also the disgust response, whereas he wouldn't even think about it. He'd just give me more wounds to lick if it makes me more powerful.
But yeah, this brings us to the end of our reading. So, favorite character and favorite fight. This is a shonen kind of. It's a battle series.
It is seinen age-wise, but shonen in genre.
So my favorite character is Kageshiza. Shiza, I think that's how you say it. Onotsu. I don't usually find the revolutionary types interesting, but the way he's able to rationalize and, really sort of gauge things is, I think, admirable. He seems to, at least from the parts that we've seen, have a good head on his shoulders. He's not completely insane yet, if it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, no. Very sympathetic villain.
Very sympathetic. So I would say he, for now, is my favorite character, though I have to say that Manji, I always like the quirky, like, older guy figure, strangely enough. So he would be a good second. My favorite fight, I have to say I wish it was longer, but I'd have to say the Shizuma fight, the other fellow Immortal. I was waiting for that to really be drawn out, where they would really trade blows and there would be greater, like, compare contrast of their worldly philosophies. Also, if there would be a further examination, I know that, he touched on the fact that he was 200 years old, and then how that tied into the timeline. Like, how old is Manji? We don't necessarily know how old he is, and, like, where it kind of falls on this scale of this 800-year-old nun. We have a 200-year-old antagonist who somehow got, tied up in the antagonizing plot here, and it's, I don't know.
Is Manji, like, has he lived more than one life?
Yeah, I mean, he does, like, call him, like, old man at points, and being just like, oh gosh, you were old. But we don't know, if Manji is, if he looks like he's maybe late 30s, 40, we don't know. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't look 40, but
I don't know. It could just be the fact he has an eye slashed out. I don't know.
everyone knows when you reach 40, you lose an eye.
Yes.
Oh no.
It's just part of growing up.
I'm not prepared for this.
Oh,
I like my eyes. They help me see things.
not for long.
All right, he's ready.
I'll go next.
Go,
Okay.
Jacob.
Favorite character, definitely gonna go with Rin. Gosh, she's just such a ball of potential, and it's one of those ones where, like, in universe she's a ball of potential, right? Like, that's the whole point of her character. And I love the ways in which like Rin's story path and, like, who she's meant to be is so ambiguous and has so many different directions it could go. Like, what is the right path for her to take? What is the moral thing for her to do? They did a good job of giving her a very sympathetic revenge plot, because, like, revenge is always kind of inherently, like, selfish, and not necessarily, like, whether or not you consider it, like, outright wrong is kind of dependent on individual culture, but, like, this is about as justifiable as a revenge plot can get. And yet, the thing I just said in the manga won't let you forget that, It is very hard to justify killing in any context, well, and at the same time, the manga isn't going to like simply just dismiss out of hand the idea of, you know, sometimes, there are reasons to kill, and such an interesting path to potentially take a character like Rin. Favorite fight, in all honesty, and I mentioned this at the top, the art style is very, very pretty, but it can have the effect of a bit obscuring the actual like choreography of the fight at times. Um, it's a me thing. It's not anything wrong with the manga. It's just not a style I prefer. So the fights didn't stand out to me hugely, though I did also like the fight against the other Immortal. I felt that especially like the final moments of that battle were really good at like showing the move counter move, and I liked the twist of like, is he defeated because he's been chopped to ribbons and he can't stitch his body back together because they're gonna like take his limbs away and bury them or something? Or, oh no, Manji like outplayed him and like awakened to his full, like reawakened to his lost potential.
Hell yeah. Matt, how about you?
Let's see. My favorite character, I'm gonna go with I think before this discussion I would have said Manji, but I think after all, he has a lot of depth. I like him so much I remembered his name. But I don't know, he's interesting. And for someone who started off as like a Power Rangers Inuyasha, like that level of cartoony villain,
Yeah.
to just be like, actually no, I don't know. I got some thoughts. But yeah, favorite fight, I gotta go with Manji versus Maki, because the ending to that is amazing, where she just clowns on him and then she gets the mandala at the end of slicing him up. And then on the back of the mandala, there is her over Manji getting cut in half. And then the very bottom of that, underneath the flower, is a bunch of dead dogs. And I'm like, they brought it back.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I gotta second everything you said, Matt. Like, Mr. BBEG, he's my favorite character just because I really appreciate anything that can give a villain this level of like grit and layer to why they're like this. Like, he's not a bad guy to be a bad guy. He's got his own strongly held convictions and motivations that runs parallel to the convictions and motivations of our protagonist, and that's the conflict, and it's messy, and that's the fun of it.
It's not a simple white hat, black hat, cowboy situation. There's more depth to it. It's more like life, yeah.
Life is complicated.
Yeah, that's why I hate it. That's why I like shonen manga.
Oh, you want to clear, cut, and dry? Like, this is good, this is bad, you need to be spoon-fed?
Yes. I'm self-aware.
Jay, stop directly quoting things I've said to Sam, or I said to Jacob off air.
Listen, I am as self-aware as Three-Headed Guy.
Oh no.
In the interest of not just completely mimicking Matt, I will say the fight with Three-Headed Guy, I will say is my favorite fight, just because it's so stupid. It sets the tone extremely well, because like we open up with this hugely dramatic, "Huh, you bastard, you've killed all my students. I must fight for my dojo." This real like gritty like samurai vibe, and then it's just like, I've actually trained my body to rotate 180 degrees at the waist. Also, I have sewn 2 heads onto my shoulders. This does not impede my movement. In fact, it makes me strong. Like it introduces the level of like, all right, goofy supernatural shit's gonna happen in this manga. And while it is incongruous with the deadly serious vibes. It's not clashing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it acts as a deliberate point of contrast. Just how
Exactly.
Having moments of comedy in a tragedy, they enhance each other when done well. The goofiness shines a spotlight on how real and serious the emotional conflict of the main characters are.
Indeed. And would you continue reading?
Before we do that, I do have plot predictions.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So I have 2 plot predictions, and I don't 100% know if they work well together. If they did, it would have. Well, if they did, you'd probably need about 200 chapters to make it work. But so one of the things that that was a big thing with Maki is she doesn't like killing, she doesn't like hurting people, but she's really good at fighting. And when she locked in, she was able to enjoy it whilst she was doing it. It was the ending part and the guilt afterward that hurt her. And there's all the elements about is it justified to do this revenge arc, but they're also making it pretty clear that Rin is going to get stronger. And you could have her reach near the top of the mountain of strength, realize it's not what she wants, and walk away at the end. And that would be a pretty powerful message. But alternatively, you can use strength to defend people. And that seems to be in the place that Manji's at. And he doesn't get morally questioned by the manga nearly as much as any of the other characters, if at all. I think that might be the direction that we're going, is that if you're strong, if you're capable, and if it's something that you're dedicated to, use that strength for something good, like defending people. Don't use it for don't use it for the way of the sword, this nebulous idea that's different to everybody. Don't force your ideals on others. Protect. That's a different path that the characters haven't really deeply addressed yet. And then the other thing that I was thinking of, and this is something that I actually reading the first couple of chapters, I could 100% see a situation where the build up to the end of this manga is Manji has killed 999 of the villains, and then here's the one enemy before the BBEG, and in him defeating that one, he's finally allowed to die. Rin has to be the one to do the final battle, because so many times early on there have been cases of Rin tries to do something, fails, and Manji has to do it for her. But the manga has been good about not making it seem like she's incapable. She's just not there yet. So that I feel would be a strong capstone to their relationship of Manji achieves his goal by bringing Rin to the end of her journey, and then Rin takes the final step on her own. There's also a sequel to this series that I think Manji is in, so that's probably not what's going to happen. But it was a cool thought I had.
For the question of would you continue reading, honestly, I don't feel super compelled to right now, but I wouldn't mind coming back to it, because I enjoyed how much this manga put the effort in, it had so many opportunities where it could have done the cheap thing for drama or character motivation, or
they didn't have to put all the effort into the villain.
They didn't have to put all the effort into the villain. That they could have done so much just cheap trash it in this. And every time I saw it approaching that, and then they swerved to the left and did something more interesting, I'm like, okay, good. I don't know if I would read it in my spare time, but I would not mind doing another episode. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I enjoyed our reading, but like a constant thing I had going on was how episodic it was.
True.
I was worried we were gonna keep getting it, and I'm kind of glad we read the very last bit we did with that like bit about Rin, because I felt we were getting into a rut after like 3 fights of basically the same thing. So I have a little more faith in the series. Not enough that I would probably go on my own, but I did really enjoy it, if that makes sense. It's it's good. It's good, and it feels fun to read. It's just not what I'm looking for right now. It's no Kagurabachi.
Okay.
Understood.
Okay, so I'm concerned about the state of the universe because I completely agree with everything Matt just said. I don't think that's allowed.
Oh no! Oh no!
Jacob, known Kagurabachi stan, agrees that this is no Kagurabachi.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing is, it's so artistically and fight wise, it's not my vibe. I absolutely love the characters, but not the way I normally love characters, because like they're so interesting from a character study perspective. And I mean, like what Matt mentioned about like the last arc that we read is really important, because this is the point where it's like, okay, we've established the status quo, now to move forward. Now we'll build a new status quo and move forward from there. So like the series has a level of narrative momentum, but like it is such a slow burn that I know that to get to the really juicy parts that I know I'm going to like is going to be such an investment. I don't know that I am in, like I talk all the time about like the thing I'd love to read. I'm probably not going to get to it. I want to do more episodes of this because it'll force me to read it, but I don't think I would put it on my list on its own, just because I know it's going to be such a mountain to climb. And when I can't fall back on like like the art style or whatever to carry that, like it's so good. Like I highly recommend it. And like the art is amazing. It's just it doesn't like sequential art for me personally. And that kind of leaves it in a state where I'd love to do another episode. And I have faith that it will go to some really awesome places, but it's going to take so long to get there.
And Jay, how about you?
So I have to say that I actually agree with all of your points. I really enjoyed this. It was a throwback to. I feel that the manga that came out in like the late 80s and 90s were more along the lines of novelistic, where they felt more like you were reading a light novel as opposed to, what I would liken to more short form media and like gag manga that seem to really, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of really well written episodic media out today, but I just feel like there's more popularity of like short form like short choppy gag-esque manga. I didn't feel like even the filler chapters or side quests in this story still in some ways seem to connect and make sense to advance the plot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they had a narrative utility if they didn't have or if they weren't like hard plot, they had some kind of like character or world building utility that made them valuable in that sense.
Exactly. Not to mention the fact that a lot of what I like about this particular work is it's not as cut and dry. The world is nuanced. The world is complicated, just like this manga. And it kind of merely makes you think. I came away, I had to take breaks in between like different plot points and just like kind of really think about like what is actually being discussed and highlighted in this moment. These questions that he would ask her, like, are things that I'm like, wait a second, you mean the protagonist is not automatically right in everything that she thinks or assumes? Wow. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would continue reading. Absolutely.
All right. And thank you, everybody, once again for tuning into the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all your social at Over Manga Cast.
You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, comment, subscribe. We also have overmangacast.com that has a comment section as well. Tell us what you thought of the manga. Give us your opinion on some of the more challenging aspects of the characters. We love hearing from you and getting that discussion going.
And as always, we appreciate reviews in any and all forms. This was a recommendation. We love give us more stuff to read. Overmangacast@gmail.com or wherever it is you can reach out to us. I mean, I yell in a supermarket. We might be there. We go to supermarkets sometimes.
Occasionally. And make sure to tune in and make sure to tune in next time where we are to be. Do I sense the end of another story on the horizon?
Maybe.
Maybe? I don't know. The Demon Slayer movie is happening, so we're
Sam?
I did a pause there to
cut, yeah.
because we don't know how many chapters we're reading, so I'm going to put that in post.
Yeah, because there's like 60 chapters, so we got to decide if we're cutting. Because it has been confirmed the movie's being cut into 3 parts, but I think that includes the final arc as they're finishing off with the movie. So we should maybe split Infinity Castle in half. That's still a lot, but it's shown in trash, so it should be easy. I don't know.
We can figure that out. We can figure that out later.
Yeah. I'll update this at some point this week because we got 2 weeks to read. So
yeah. So if you're keeping up with the show, be sure to read that, and we'll see you all in 2 Thursdays. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, back to sword practice. That seems to be our lot in life now.
I'm just gonna practice with a gun.
Yeah!